You are exhausting yourself caring about things that will not matter to you in 10 years. I promise you this, I am not guessing. I spent 38 years sitting with people in their final weeks and days, listening to what they actually said when they knew time was almost gone. And I can tell you with complete certainty that most of what is eating you alive right now, most of what keeps you up at night, most of what you are sacrificing your peace for, will evaporate. It will simply stop mattering. The tragedy is that you will not realize this until you are much older or sicker or closer to the end than you want to be. You will look back and think, why did I waste so much of myself on that? I have watched this happen to other people more than 2,000 times, and I have lived it myself. I know what falls away, and I want to tell you now, while you can still do something with this information. Number 1, I stopped caring about being right. This was one of the hardest ones for me because I spent most of my life believing that if I was right about something, I had an obligation to make sure everyone else knew it. I would argue, I would push, I would bring up evidence. I would circle back to conversations days later with new points. I thought I was being helpful. I thought truth mattered. And truth does matter, but not the way I thought it did. What I learned from sitting with dying people is that nobody, and I mean nobody, ever said, "I wish I had won more arguments." Not once in 38 years. What they said was, "I wish I had not let small disagreements turn into big silences." They said, "I wish I had let my brother be wrong about politics without making it a war." They said, "I wish I had shut my mouth and just let it go." Being right costs something. It costs energy. It costs relationships. It costs your peace. And the return on that investment is almost nothing. You win the argument, and the other person resents you. You prove your point, and they dig in harder. You get to feel superior for about 15 minutes, and then the satisfaction fades, and you are left with the same problems you had before, plus a little more distance between you and someone who used to be close. I am not saying truth does not matter. I am saying pick your battles. Most of them are not worth fighting. Let people be wrong. Let them think what they think. You do not need to correct everyone. You do not need to be the one who sets the record straight. Just live your life and let them live theirs. The energy you save will be enormous. Number 2, I stopped caring about being understood by everyone. There was a time when I would explain myself endlessly. If someone misunderstood my intentions, I would go back and clarify. If someone thought poorly of me, I would try to change their mind. I would craft careful explanations. I would revisit conversations. I would lie awake thinking about how I could have communicated better. This is exhausting, and it does not work. Some people are not going to understand you no matter how clearly you explain yourself. Some people do not want to understand you. They have already decided who you are and what you meant, and no amount of talking will change it. So I stopped. Now I say what I mean once. If someone does not understand or does not want to understand, that is not my problem to solve. I am not responsible for managing what happens inside someone else's head. I watched a woman named Patricia, this was maybe 1989, spend her last 3 weeks trying to write letters to people who had misunderstood her throughout her life. She wanted to set the record straight before she died. She was 76 years old, she had cancer that had spread everywhere, and she was using what little energy she had left to explain herself to people who had judged her decades ago. I finally asked her, "Patricia, do you think these letters will change their minds?" She looked at me a long time. She said, "Probably not, I said, "Then why are you spending your last days on this?" She put down the pen. She never picked it back up. She spent her remaining time with her grandchildren instead. Let yourself be misunderstood. The people who matter will know who you really are. The people who do not will believe whatever they want anyway. Number 3. I stopped caring about what my body looks like. I am not talking about health. Health matters. I am talking about appearance. I am talking about the way we torture ourselves over whether we look acceptable to other people. I spent decades worrying about my weight, my skin, my hair, my clothes. I would not wear certain things because I thought my arms looked wrong. I would not swim because I did not want people to see my thighs. I would look in the mirror and catalog everything that was not right. Do you know how much time that takes? Do you know how much mental energy that consumes? And for what? So that strangers would not think critical thoughts about me. So that I could meet some standard that kept moving anyway. At 92, I can tell you that your body is a vehicle. That is all it is. It is the thing that carries you around while you are alive. It is not a performance. It is not a project. It is not something that needs to be perfected before you are allowed to enjoy your life. Every single person who ever looked at you critically, every single person who ever made you feel like you were not thin enough, or pretty enough, or young enough, they are dealing with their own pain. Their criticism of your body is not actually about your body. It is about their fear and their insecurity and their inability to accept their own flesh. Do not let their suffering become yours. Wear what you want. Eat the food. Go swimming. Stop hiding yourself until you look the way you think you are supposed to look. You will never get there. The standard is a lie. And you will wake up one day at 92 in a body that barely works anymore, and you will think, I wish I had enjoyed it more when it still could do things. I wish I had worn the dress. I wish I had eaten the cake without shame. I wish I had stopped punishing myself. Number 4. I stopped caring about keeping up. This one happened gradually and then all at once. For most of my life, I felt this pressure to stay current, to know what was happening in the news, to understand the new technology, to have seen the movies everyone was talking about, to have opinions about the controversies of the moment. I read newspapers and watched the evening news and felt anxious if I fell behind. I thought staying informed was a moral obligation. Then, somewhere in my 80s, I realized something. The world is going to keep making noise whether I listen or not. The news cycle is designed to make you feel like everything is urgent and everything requires your attention and everything is a crisis. But it is not true. Most of what feels urgent today will be completely forgotten in 6 months. The thing everyone is arguing about this week will be replaced by something else next week. I stopped trying to keep up with all of it. I pick a few things I actually care about and I pay attention to those. I let the rest go. I do not know what the latest controversy is on the internet. I do not know what the young people are saying on their phones. I do not know which celebrity did what, or which politician said something outrageous. And my life is not worse for it. My life is better. I have peace. I have mental space. I have room for the things that actually matter to me. You do not have to keep up with everything. You are allowed to opt out. You are allowed to say, "I do not have an opinion about that because I have not been following it." You are allowed to let the noise pass you by and focus on what is real and close and true. Number 5. I stopped caring about old grudges. I held on to resentments for decades. There were people I had not forgiven for things they did in the 1960s. I would think about them and feel the anger rise up in me like it was still fresh. I kept mental lists of wrongs done to me. I rehearsed conversations I would never have. I fantasized about confrontations. And the whole time, the people I was angry at had no idea. They were living their lives. They had probably forgotten whatever they did that hurt me. The only person being harmed by my grudge was me. I was carrying this weight around everywhere I went, and they were not carrying anything. In hospice work, I saw this pattern over and over. People on their deathbeds suddenly desperate to forgive or be forgiven. Families scrambling to repair decades of distance in the final days. Brothers who had not spoken in 40 years trying to squeeze a lifetime of reconciliation into one hospital visit. And sometimes it worked. Sometimes grace showed up at the last minute, but often it did not. Often there was not enough time, or one person had already died, or the hurt was too deep to repair quickly. And I would watch people die with regret still in their hearts. So I stopped waiting. I forgave everyone, not because they deserved it and not because what they did was okay. I forgave them because I did not want to carry it anymore. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to the person who hurt you. It is a gift you give to yourself. It is putting down a weight that was never doing anything except making you tired. I do not think about those old injuries anymore. I do not have the energy for it, and I do not want to waste the time I have left on anger from 50 years ago. Number 6. I stopped caring about what my adult children think of my choices. This one will be controversial, I know that. But I raised 3 children. I gave them everything I had for decades. I sacrificed, I worried, I lost sleep, I made choices I did not want to make because I thought it was best for them. And then they grew up. They became adults with their own lives and their own opinions. And somewhere along the way, I realized I was still trying to please them. I was making decisions about my own life based on whether my children would approve. I was afraid of their judgment. I was afraid they would think I was being foolish or selfish or making bad choices. My children love me, I know they do, but they are not always right about what is best for me. They worry about me the way I used to worry about them, and sometimes their worry leads them to opinions I do not share. When my husband Tom died in 2012, they thought I should move into assisted living immediately. They thought living alone was dangerous. They had all these ideas about what I should do with my own life, and I listened. I considered their perspective, and then I made my own decision. I stayed in my apartment. I got a medical alert button. I made some adjustments, but I did not let their fear override my own judgment about my own life. Your children, if you have them, will have opinions about you. They will think you should do things differently. They will worry. They will sometimes try to control you because they love you and they are scared. But you are still you. You are still an adult who gets to make your own choices. You do not stop being a whole person just because your children are grown and concerned. Love them, listen to them, and then make your own decisions anyway. Number 7. I stopped caring about being productive. This is the hardest one for my generation, and I suspect it is even harder for yours. We were raised to believe that our worth was connected to our usefulness, that we had to earn our place in the world by working, by contributing, by doing something that mattered. Retirement was terrifying for a lot of people I knew, because suddenly they did not have a role, they did not have a title, they did not have somewhere to be and something to accomplish. And they felt like they did not matter anymore. I felt this too. When I retired from hospice work, I volunteered for another 20 years because I did not know how to just exist. I did not know how to be valuable without being productive. And then my body started slowing down. I could not volunteer as much. I could not do as much. I had to learn to just be. This was one of the most difficult lessons of my life. Learning that I am still worthy of love and space and air and food even when I am not producing anything. Learning that I do not have to earn my existence. Learning to sit in a chair and read a book and not feel guilty that I am not doing something useful. You are not a machine. Your value is not measured by your output. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to take time that does not produce anything. You are allowed to have hours and days that are just for being alive, not for accomplishing. The cult of productivity is lying to you. It is telling you that every moment must be optimized, every hour must count, every day must move you toward some goal. But that is not how a good life is actually lived. A good life has space in it. A good life has rest. A good life has moments where you are doing nothing except existing, and that is enough. I am 92 years old. I have watched over 2,000 people die. I have seen what they let go of and what they held on to. I have heard what they wish they had done differently. And the through line, the common thread, is this: they cared too much about the wrong things for too long. They gave their precious energy to battles that did not matter, to appearances that faded, to grudges that poisoned only themselves, to opinions of people who barely knew them, to an endless treadmill of staying current and staying productive and staying relevant. And at the end, none of that was what they wanted. They wanted peace. They wanted the people they loved around them. They wanted to know that their life had meant something to someone. They wanted to feel like they had not wasted it. You are wasting it right now, some part of it at least. Some part of your energy and your attention and your heart is going to something that does not deserve it. I cannot tell you exactly what that is for you, but I can tell you it is there. And I can tell you that you do not have to wait until you are 92 or until you are dying to start letting it go. Put it down now. Stop caring about it today. Save yourself for the things that will still matter at the end, because the end is coming. It is coming for all of us, and you do not want to get there and realize you spent your one precious life caring about things that never should have had your heart in the first place.